You don't need to cut your carbs, quit your culture, or count your calories to balance your hormones. You just need to listen to your body. You need to just stop silencing her. Hormone health isn't about restriction and medicine. It's actually about finding your rhythm. And most wellness advice does not cater for people like you and me, women like you and me. But where are most of the answers? Actually, in our kitchens for generations. And we're going to talk about that today. If you are a woman between the ages of 25 and 50, you're dealing with fatigue and emotions going all over the place and just not feeling right in your body, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Kajal, and I'm a type 1 diabetic of 30 plus years, a health and wellness coach, and a simple Gujarati girl who has gone through it. I've had to deal with hormones, learning how they work, etc., because they weren't an option for me. They were my survival. I've had to learn how progesterone and estrogen and cortisol and insulin, how they all tie in and how they've affected my diabetes. And these are things I've had to learn on my own. There's actually not a lot of information out there. So everything I've learned, I'm here to share with you as your big sister because I want you guys to be well and healthy, especially strong women. Now, whether you're diabetic or not, all of this still comes back into our menstrual cycles. Cycles that we don't talk about ourselves, but also the medical world don't talk enough about. The medical world, the world, is created more around, I hate to say it, men's cycles. They go through all the cycles in a 24-hour period, whereas we go through everything over a month. Now we're going to talk more deeply about this, but imagine like what you're going through for 5 days, your ovulation, that spark, energetic part of your personality comes out during that time. They have like 2 hours in a day to go through that. When they slump, that's like a 2 hours or so, 3 hours. We slump for about 10 days in our period. And I say period, the menstrual cycle. The world is not created for this. In a day-to-day job, it's not created for this. Medicines, the way medicinal models are created, they're not catered for that. So therefore, when we take medications, when we see our doctors, firstly, we don't even know what to ask for because you don't know what you don't know, which is why we're doing this video. But number two, the information is not being offered either. And this is my first-hand experience as well. So I'd like to share everything that I've learned and the some of the hurdles I've gone through so that you don't make these mistakes. And I'm going to call them, they're not mistakes, they're just things you don't know. So what I've learned later on, I don't want you guys to take so long to learn, and you can go in, speak to your doctors, and understand more than anything what your body is asking for. Because once you have that information, it makes everything so much easier. So, according to the World Health Organization, the WHO, 80% of women globally all experience some sort of hormonal imbalance. So, what does that mean? PCOS, hair thinning, dry skin, cortisol spikes that'll maybe cause weight gain, all sorts of all of these things. And then on top of that, you've got, cultural guilt. You have to look after the household. You've got grandparents and they're all living together. And there's things, there's a lot you need to carry. There's a wedding that need to go and present yourself at, even though you don't even know the person. Is a cousin of a cousin of a cousin. There's all sorts of things going on. And then you tend to think, oh, it's just stress. Oh, it's just work. Oh, it's just this. And unfortunately, the medicinal models and medicines are not actually realizing and not relating to the cyclical nature of our bodies, especially as women. Now, you add on all the cultural bits too, women of color from our communities, we don't even know what is causing half the issues in our bodies. So, this is why I've created this video because actually it's really simple. And our bodies speak to us differently at each part of our cycle. If we know exactly what is being asked for and of, you can so look after your body and you work with it, you sync with it. So I'm going to go through the four parts of the four parts of the cycle. You may know it, you may not know it. Most people just call the whole month their period, or when they bleed their period, but it's called the menstrual cycle. Now within the cycle you have four different parts. So we're going to start with the menstrual cycle. So when you bleed, right? Now this is also called like your reset period. So basically, the uterine lining is come out of your body. It's blood. It's coming out as blood. Now, Whether you have had the period and it's come out, or whether you haven't had a baby, because technically your body wants you to have a baby, your body is grieving that. So imagine looking after your body like a person who's on day one of healing. You want to hug them, you want to hold them, you want to protect them. That's how you're supposed to be treating your body because it's grieving the loss of blood, it's grieving the loss of a potential baby. If you think about it. So imagine that for your 5 or 6, 7 days, however long you bleed. Again, if you have these imbalances, you might not have a period, or the period might be longer than usual. You might be having a lot of blood loss because, again, until you get all the hormones and everything right, which you can do through food, I'm not saying the only thing, but food, mental mindset changes, you can so get your body back into gear. So, between 5 to 7 days, I'm just using the general number of days, that's when you have your iron rich foods, you have your spinach, you have warm convalescing foods, bone broth, like hearty, warm foods. These are things that you are protecting your body with. And this is the time when you're not really supposed to be doing your hard exercise. I know you may say you go to the gym 3 times a week or you do your Pilates, every day. This is the time when your body wants to rest. And rest isn't, even if you don't want to go to the gym and you just want to sit and do nothing, that's fine because the body is trying to reset itself. This is the time for you to do nothing. It's okay. This is when you journal. So again, mindset changes. Journal, let it out if you're crying, because the body is trying to release and reset, grieving something. So write your journal, go for walks, do easy stretches, not even a full yoga session, just some easy stretches. Because all the little cells were ready for you to have a baby, basically. And even if it was just your period lined up and nothing was embedded, it still did all the preparatory parts. Do you see what I'm saying? So you need to take time to let that come out of your body with ease and not say, well, I should have gone to the gym, should have done this, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. That's the last thing you want to do. Don't push yourself because any bit of energy that you have, you're trying to conserve that. So take that time to just rest, be, do nothing, and just give your body what it needs. As I said, iron-rich foods to replenish the blood that's come out. Bone broth, really, nourishing and building. If you can't have bone broth because you're vegetarian, spinach, vegetables that have been cooked softly, sweet potatoes, that kind of very root vegetables, things that have come from the ground, potatoes, swedes, ginger. These are really, really good for your body at that time. So if you've understood this about yourself during your period, your menstrual, your blood time, you'll treat your body a lot differently with a lot more care. Yeah? So now the follicular phase. So once you finished your period, the bleeding, you have about 3 to 5 days called the follicular period. This is the exciting part. This is when your energy is growing, you're optimistic, and this is the time when you should be brainstorming, prepping, lighter foods. So if you were having a lot of vegetables during your menstrual phase, now have light salads, light proteins, some fish, sushi, that kind of thing, very light, because everything is just popping. You've got energy. So this is your springtime. You can describe it as that. You've got energy, start planning, not doing. This is the time when, if you've got any projects that are going on, start prepping them out, saying, okay, this is what needs to be done. This is when your energy is coming, it's coming back. It's not fully back, it's coming back. It's spring. It's just the buds are growing. So mindset wise, enjoy that excitement that you have. Enjoy this time and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and start prepping. So, brainstorms, prepping, foods should be light. You are more energetic, and exercise wise, don't go straight into your HIIT exercise or other, but like cycling, some jogging, definitely things that are more high impact, more energetic. This is when you are at your prime for that. Get into it. Just you're optimistic, you're excited about that. So given that you know this about yourself during that phase, or if you notice that, and if you don't cycle track, and this is what I'm saying, why it's really important to know what's happening where, you might suddenly after your period feel really good and you think it's because it's the opposite of what I was feeling for the past 5 days. Yes and no. Yes, it's a change from being in that kind of cozy, I'm trying to protect myself environment. Yes, there's a change, but it's also a slow growth. So don't jump into like, oh, period's done. I'm going to get back into the gym and hit heavy weights. No, it's another little cycle. You're going up the mountain slowly, slowly. So do some light cycling, do some jogging, get into it, but you're not in it completely. Just you're starting to get into it. Start planning, start brainstorming, but don't go fully in it because you don't have your full energy yet. You're energetic, but you're not fully there. So now, I think this is every woman's favorite part, the ovulation phase. This is when you are so excitable, you're sensitive in the best ways. And you know what? This is the time when you should shoot your shot, pitch your project, put up that fire selfie because you are naturally glowing. You are naturally glowing. If you've noticed, if you don't cycle track and at some point in the month you're like, you know what, I didn't really do anything and like I feel better, but also you keep getting compliments from people, from guys, and you're like, I didn't really do much. Your pheromones are high at this point in time because again, naturally, this is the time when your body wants to breed. And so it's going to put all the signals out for you to be your shiniest, best, most magnetic self. So this is really stuff that happens way back when, Neanderthal days. It's still happening now, of course. But we're living in a world where you have a job, you have side hustles, you have a boyfriend, you're not married younger. Do you know what I mean? The things have changed now. So how do you make this work to your best ability? Whether you put that red lipstick on or not, it's still gonna be that much glowier on you. You're gonna have this magnetic vibrance about you. So do the most. This is when you should be planning your nights out, your date night with your husband, boyfriend. If you're dating multiple people, go on multiple dates. Wear that nice dress. This is also when your energy levels are so much stronger. So this is when you do your HIIT exercises, your Ashtanga yoga, your this is when you do your heavyweight, gym lifting, heavy weight lifting in the gym. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is when you should be pushing for that because your energy levels are stronger, brighter, and you are lighter. So, lean proteins, your salads, your anything that's light, but what you are eating in the follicular phase, in this one, you can add a bit more carb because your body is absorbing and really pushing out a lot of energy. It needs the energy. So you need to supplement that with a little bit more carbs. So have the sushi with the rice as opposed to the sashimi. Have the chapati with the dal. If you are having, so during your menstrual phase, dals and, really convalescing food, take that mung bean and now just put it into salads. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas in the menstrual phase, you want something that's a bit more wholesome. In the follicular and the ovulation phase, you want something that's brighter and energetic, a little bit slightly more raw, because the body is able to absorb all of this. So this is when you do the mung beans in the salad. This is when you do the tuna salads, light, fresh, airy, that kind of stuffs, because this is when you are at your prime. And so with the ovulation phase, it's not just about fertility, it's about visibility. You are at your shiniest, most optimal, best self during this time. And then the phase that I think most women dislike. I know I definitely dislike it because oh, it causes so many problems for me. The luteal phase. This is when your progesterone is rising. It's basically prepping your body for a pregnancy. So you're going to be a bit more short-tempered. You're going to have slower digestion. You know, this is when, how do I say? So because your body is preparing for pregnancy, you're not going to deal with anyone's crap. It's trying to get a job done. So you're going to be more short-tempered. You're going to have slower digestion. You're going to have constipation because the body is trying to hold on to water, trying to keep itself as lubricated and as healthy as possible. This is also when you have a lot of insulin resistance. It just tends to happen because of the progesterone. So let me tell you a story. This is what happened to me. So at some point, I was eating the same thing during the days, but for like 10 days, well, I didn't count 10 days until I realized over a couple of months that I would be doing the same thing over and over, but my sugars would just be rising. And then I'd be going to the gym and I'd be feeling quite sluggish. And I thought, maybe it's because my sugars have been high. That's why I'm just feeling really tired. And it made no sense because I ate the same thing probably a couple of days ago, did the same workout, and the sugars be high. I would be irritable. Again, I would keep saying it's because of the high sugars. But actually, I found out, I decided to read a book. I was like, there's something going on with my body. I also noticed I would be getting constipated. And that's when I'd get my one spot. And I'm like, okay, this is definitely got something to do with my period. Again, because I was able to listen to my body, but I didn't have the answers. So I said, let me figure this out. Did some research, and I found this book by Alyssa Vitti. I'm going to link it down below. So good. The Woman Code. And it went through each and every part of your cycle. And basically, this is the first time ever someone explained to me how the body is asking for different things at different parts of the cycle and how to deal with that mentally, also how you eat, physically, how you exercise, what you say to yourself. And that's when I learned about the progesterone, research about progesterone, and I realized about insulin resistance. That's because of that little imbalance. That's what happens when people have PCOS and all these other hormone imbalances. I'm like, this makes sense. No wonder why my skin's dry and my hair is thinning. So I said, okay, what am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to say to myself during that time? And just then, I realized with insulin resistance, I probably need to take a little bit more background insulin. So I would take that for a couple of days. Suddenly, everything started lowering down because I'm doing the same thing. I was like, this is making sense. So when I did speak to my nurse, she then said to me, yeah, this is what happens during your phases. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me? But again, she's not going to tell me because I'm not asking. But if I don't know what to ask, I don't know what I don't know, right? So this is why I'm making this video. I want you guys to be empowered enough to go and ask your nurses and doctors for what you need, or something that may be going on with your body and they are just putting you generically under certain things, unless you actually do the research yourself. Like, that autonomy over your body is so important because you are the ones feeling it. They're just doing their job. You see? So I read the book. I asked her about this. I told her I'm changing my background insulin. She agreed with me. But this is the weird thing. Whenever they have a talk with me, they always ask, like, do you plan on getting pregnant soon? How are you eating? Are you still on the same insulin regime? And I'm like, yes. But don't you think during that part they would have asked me why your sugar's going high between this time and this time? Or even if they don't ask me that, even if they say, are you noticing any patterns? Because I'm not seeing any patterns. Or if they do see a pattern, to ask you about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that lack of information I struggled with. And I, to a certain degree, still do today because every month is different. Some months I may not need any insulin because I've been really active that month, as in not insulin, I mean background insulin. But then some months, like this month, I feel like I needed a lot more background insulin because I had a lot more spots here. You can see, um, I've had insomnia, never had it in my life, but I also bring it back down to my stress levels. When I'm a happy chappy and life is light, I am to the book, like on the date. Right now, I'm like a day late. So I'm just trying to make it easy and restful for myself, do all the self care, baking, do all the kind of like homely stuff that a woman who's trying to nest would do. It's just because that's what my body is asking for, because our bodies are still the Neanderthal ways of doing things. That's just the way our brains, the reptilian part of our brain is set up. We need to listen to our bodies because it's asking us for something. And so this is what happened to me. And I learned all of this probably about 2 to 3 years ago. And now I really advocate for it when I speak to some of my patients, some of my friends, some of the diabetic girls I know, because they start seeing these things and they're like, I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, wait, it's this, it's your luteal phase. So this is something I do in my coaching as well. So it's really sad and it bothers me that the medicinal models don't cater for our cyclical nature of our bodies, and we have to learn it ourselves. So here we are. So luteal phase is when the body is basically nesting. This is when you need more magnesium because, again, imagine your body's nesting, it's stressed. It's like, I can't deal with anything apart from getting a baby out, basically, or this period out. So your body's going to be stressed, the muscles going to be stressed. So magnesium to calm you down, relax you. This is when you need your um, dark chocolate. You have these cravings. For me, I notice As soon as I have like a need for something salty or fatty, so like cheese, olives, jalapenos, I know it. And that's because I'm so in tune with my body. So if you notice suddenly you're getting a bit short-tempered, or if you notice you are getting constipated, or you can't sleep suddenly for like 2, 3 days on end, it's probably signaling to you you starting your luteal phase, and for the next 10 days it's going to be a bit crazy before the period drops. This is when you need to nest. So this is not the time to start redoing your house and pushing sofas around or doing your gym workouts. No, this is the time you need to start relaxing, not doing anything, easy Pilates, going for walks, relaxing the body. This is when you need to be winding down projects. This is your autumn, I would say. So, this is the time when you need to be really gentle with yourself, a lot of self care. Now, I know most women at this point in time are like, oh, you know what? I'm too lazy to cook. Let me grab some takeout. Again, you're going to be putting food into you, which you don't know how it's been cooked. And, as I said at the beginning of this video, our answers have been in our kitchens for generations. So everything I've told you, convalescing foods, warm, warm vegetables, iron-rich foods, a good steak. If you eat meat, you want things that are gonna really feed and nourish your body. A green tea, khichdi, if you're Gujarati, you know what I mean. Now, if you've gone out to get takeaway because you're feeling too tired to cook because naturally you're nesting, this is a little tip that I'm going to tell you. Plan all your meals when you're in your follicular and ovulation phase. So that's do a big like vat of dal or nidar or whatever it is, all those convalescing foods. Do your bone broths then, and then freeze it. Because then when you're doing your luteal and your menstrual phase, you just need to take it out of the fridge and warm it up. So it's really good for you. You know what you're putting in your body. It's got all the benefits that your body needs at that point in time. The magnesium, the convalescing foods, all the good, spices from your cinnamons, chromium picolinate to help with blood sugar during this time luteal when you have a lot of insulin resistance. At that point in time, you have cravings, isn't it? Do all the work for your cravings during your ovulation and follicular phase because you have the energy to put it together. You don't want to be grabbing for crisps. You'd rather be grabbing for olives. They're good fats for your body, but they're probably what you need during your luteal phase. Just work with your body in the best ways. Cravings aren't a weakness, they are feedback. Balance your hormones. Don't bully them. Listen to your body. So this is where I bring in my little hacks. I got 3 cute little hacks that can help you. I already mentioned one about starting to cook your foods, the things that you need for the other parts of your cycle during your more energetic parts of your cycle. And this means you're cooking simple foods with the spices that are needed, spices that'll help work in favor with your body. Because again, you don't know, as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, a lot of the cultural foods that we get from takeout places, so like Chinese foods, Indian foods, they're the colonized version of our cultural foods. So there's a lot of MSG, there's a lot of coloring, fake stuff that's in there, which is going to do nothing for your body, and it's just going to keep coating your taste buds in this like junk. So no, you probably just need a simple meal with the right spices and the best intention. My mom's always told me when you cook with a good heart. Like if you're in a bad mood, don't cook because the people that are going to eat it, as well as yourself, you're going to absorb those energies. And everything is energy. Cook with good intention, some really good spices, whatever you need at that point in time. And it's going to do so much for your body, so much. The wonders, honestly. And with just these little bits of ways of planning your foods. Number 2, sync your schedule, not just your food. So, as I mentioned, like prep your food during a certain part of your phase for another certain part of your phase, but also prep your schedule. So, as I said earlier, in your follicular phase, that's when you're in planning phase. So, if you're planning for a party, try and do it during then. Of course, you're not going to do it. Obviously, the party might be a certain date. You're like, but my follicular phase is the week after. But the party's going to happen in a month, right? So if you can highlight when you are in your follicular phase, that's the best time to be planning for a month in advance for this party or for the office work event, or if there's a marathon that you're being part of. Do all your preparation work during that time. One thing I've learned, especially when I do a lot of my entrepreneurial work where I'm talking on stage or if I've got an event, sometimes I am here racking my head. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a wall, and I'm like, and I start feeling bad. I start shaming myself and saying, you know what, you're not working hard enough, etc. Until I've realized I'm not working with my body, right? So if I've learned that, you know what, there's no point forcing myself to start putting a whole project together when I'm in my luteal phase or my menstrual phase, like 2 days before my period. I've learned that it's like hitting your head against a wall. It basically is that. So once you've learned that actually this is the time you're supposed to be relaxing, not relaxing, but like nesting and giving your body what it needs, self care, your body will give back to you. That's when it's going to be like, oh, she took care of me during this time. So come follicular phase, we're going to give everything to her. That's when you're excited to plan things. So that's when I'll say, okay, you know what? Now that I have my event in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to use the time right now to prep what I'm going to speak. What am I going to wear? Who am I going to be working with? Who's my photographer? Who's my videographer? All of those planning parts are done then. So that's what I suggest to you when it comes to family events, anything in your schedule. You're trying to write lists for all your foods that you need to buy. Yes, do it on a weekly basis for sure, but your big shop, do it during that follicular time. When it comes to actions, when you have to get everyone together for the party, you're moving chairs, you're carrying things, do that during your ovulation phase. Again, it's going to take time for you to understand where you are in the schedule. But this leads me to hack number 3. Track your cycle. I've been saying everything in this video. You might just be like, the what? When? Where? So, hack number 3, for 28 days, 30 days, I suggest you start on the first day of your period. So, the first day you bleed, day 1, the date, write how you felt. Do that. Keep doing it for the whole month. Even write there, say, period ended, how you felt. Once you start doing that over a couple of months, you'll start seeing a pattern. Now, I'm sure we all have these apps on our phones where you input when your period's going to start and end. Use that as well because it'll also, sometimes these apps give you a guidance to say, oh, you might be ovulating now or you might be during your follicular phase now. They can help, they can give guidance. Well, what I suggest is obviously those are generic things, those are tech based. We're human, we're not AI. We're not going to, that's another topic for another day. Use your own body for its feedback. Write down, day 1, I felt like this. Do it at the beginning of the day, do it at the end of the day, do it twice a day. But do the same thing every day for a whole month. And once you start seeing your patterns, you'll realize I get really irritable during my luteal phase. I get really lazy during my luteal phase. Okay, let me feed it what it needs. Let me not force myself to do certain things during that time because then I'm not going against my body. You know what? I'm actually really energetic for these 3 days, but you know what? I was working from home and I didn't get to go to the office and I couldn't meet people. I couldn't be my magnetic self. So as a result, I was irritable. Do you see? You'll start putting things in place. Everything will start making sense. And once you start learning how your body works, it's going to do wonders for you because you're working with your body, not against it. And why I'm telling you this is because, as I say, the medicinal world, the world around us does not cater for this. They don't talk about this. Why would they talk about this? Because they want us to be working 24/7, 7 days a week, right? Now, I'm saying you can do that by taking care of yourself so that you're your best self, so your cup is full, and then you can give to people. When I say working 24/7, I don't mean for a company. I mean for family, for friends, for, your side hustle, for studying, wherever you need to keep giving energy and pouring out of your cup. But before you do all of that, you need to give to yourself. And if you give to yourself, you're not doing it in the generic way of, oh, I'm going for a massage, I'm getting my nails done. You're actually saying, you know what? Actually, I need to sit at home and write my journal. You know what? I actually need to go out and dance my ass off because that's going to help me. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not selfish. This is how you keep yourself aligned and in one place energetically from inside, because you're giving your body what it needs according to you and not according to the world at large. Does it make sense? So, hormone balance isn't something that you buy, it's a relationship that you build with yourself. Now, to help you, I've made a little wellness tracker. It's in the description below. It's free and it'll help you nudge you in the right direction if you're not sure where to start, or even if you're just not in tune with your body and you want something that will give you guidance. Start with that. Then write your feelings per day. Do that for a month. But this thing, it'll help you. It'll just start making you feel more in tune with yourself. And I guarantee you, you're going to feel so good after the 21 days, because it takes 21 days to set a habit. It's free, it's in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, share it with a sister, share it with a friend, share it with someone who's going through it with their hormones. And I hope to see you soon in the next one. All right, bye.